everyone, welcome to my corner of the world. Today my video is going to be slightly different to how I normally share things with you. Normally I'd have a sample and I'd show you how I built it up, but today I'm starting with sort of an idea in my mind, and I'm going to develop it while I'm on camera, so wish me that luck with that one. And I decided to showcase a couple of products that became available on January the 4th. And the first one is the Daffodil Daydream stamp set, which you will find on page 37 of the Spring Mini catalogue for this year. And I am pairing that with the Daffodil Afternoon designer paper. And this is a free product that you can get with a $50 US product order until February the 28th of this year. And you'll find that one on page 4 of the celebration catalogue, and you can see that it's got lots of ideas to share with you, and this one is an extra one that I'm going to give you. So here we have the papers that are in this particular pack, and you can see there's lots of floral with daffodils, and there's some daisies as well, but then there's also some more just sort of simple patterns as well. So we have one here, this one with little X's on. We've got this one with a check and then some diagonal stripes. So there's a lovely amount there to choose from. So I'm going to pop that down on the floor, and I'm then move forward with this card. Now, the design I chose to use was this one. It's got lovely big daffodils. And I also thought about my card base. I did do a little bit of planning ahead of time, and I decided that I would use Evening Evergreen. I thought that that would give quite a nice, make those daffodils pop some. So that's my card base, and I used one of the new embossing folders. This is Stripes and Splatters, and if you see, I've actually used the stripy one, and I've just popped it in through my cut and emboss machine, and this will work with both the standard as well as the mini, and I've just embossed one side. So my card base is 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it at 4 1/4. And then I've got a piece of my paper here, which is 5 1/4 by 1 1/4, I think. And I'm just going to pop that down on that side there. Now, you don't have to worry too much about the sizes, cutting instructions, because if you look below this video, you'll see a link to my blog, and on my blog will be all the details for this card, the cutting, the colors, the cutting information, and also a link to my online store where you'll be able to purchase these items to make the cards yourselves. So I have a piece of very vanilla. This is 5 1/4 by 4, and that's going to be my insert, because this is going to be a weeny bit on the dark side to write, unless you happen to be using maybe a white pen. And then I've got my most favorite at this moment dies, and these are the Stitch So Sweetly dies. And the reason I love them is that we get a bunch of these scalloped rectangles, as well as these more sort of curvy dies as well, and they've got a stitched effect. If you look, they've got this lovely stitched effect as well. So I'm going to use the dies from the stamps from oh, there it is, it's gone missing. from the Daffodil Daydream stamp set. And I decided that I would like to use some blends, some Stampin' blends. So I've picked out the colours from the paper. So this is Pale Papaya, this one here, and then this is Flirty Flamingo, and then this is Granny Apple Green. And I didn't have Granny Apple Green, so I'm using Old Olive, and it works quite well for that. So I'm going to stamp on this piece of Very Vanilla that I've already cut out here. Again, I wanted to save time, and I've just done a little bit of masking because I don't want to get my stamped image over the scalloped edge. I want it to sort of be a complete frame. So I'm using crumb cake ink, and then I'm going to be popping, oh, that wasn't very helpful. I think I'm going to pop this at an angle, and I'm going to try and put it toward the top there, like that. And then, unusually for me, I'm going to use a second stamp set, which is called Happy and Heartfelt. And it's just sayings, and it's got a lovely script, which I really love. Those of you that follow my blog know that I really do love good script. And I'm going to try and squeeze this one in down here. There. We have to celebrate this. Okay. I think that's as much stamping. Now, I've done quite a few videos using Stampin' Blends, but I am just going to go through this quickly with you, just to share the techniques. So I'm going to start, this is the dark Flirty Flamingo, and on the paper it has this colour on the frill at the top of the trumpet. Now I'm going to leave that for a few moments to dry. In fact, maybe what I ought to do is pan in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to pop in the leaves. Now, these leaves are quite narrow. And to be honest with you, I don't think it needs a lot of shading or depth of colour. But I will do the stems as well, and I'm just touching very, very lightly. I'm not really putting any weight on my tip at all. And this one is the thick end that I'm using. And then I'm going to use Pale Papaya. And again, I'm going to use the thick end to do the trumpet. Hope you can see what I'm doing. And I try not to take it too close to the stamped edge at this point. I'm going to let that bit dry, and then I'm going to do the rest of the trumpet. And then I'm just going to pop back and make sure that I've taken my colour to the edge. Excuse me. If you put too much colour near the edge at one time, it will bleed over your line. So by adding the ink a little bit at a time, you'll find that you've got more control and it'll dry before it bleeds. And then for my petals, I am using ivory. It was the closest that I could find to what was on the paper. And again, you can see I'm just using very, very gentle little strokes. Not taking it too close to the edge at this time. Now you can see, if you see, I haven't quite taken it to the edge. I'm just going to let that just sort of settle for a few moments and then just go back and just bring that down a little bit more. And then I'm going to go back to the top of the petals here and just add a bit more depth of colour. Very, very, very subtle. As I say, if you look on my YouTube channel, you'll see that I've got quite a few videos using blends. And I'm just going to go and just put a little bit of depth of colour in the old olive at the base of that leaf, like the back of that, and maybe just under here a tiny bit that might just be in shadow. It's very, the depth of colour is really, really subtle. You can't really see it, but you can if you follow me. Now I could leave it like that. However, I decided that I would add some Wink of Stella to look as though the dew is on my daffodil. And if you actually look closely at a daffodil, they have got a sheen to them. I think this one is probably a weeny bit on the dry side. Let's try. Oh yeah, this one's got lots more in it. It has got a sheen. And so really, I'm not just using artistic license here. I am just making it look a little bit more lifelike. Well, that's my excuse anyway. Okay, so if you see, look at that, you can just see a tinsy wincy little bit of sparkle. Ooh, lovely, lovely. Right, let's clear the decks. I'm going to do a couple more bits of stamping. I'm going to get my envelope, because in this stamp set is also a cute butterfly. So I'm going to just add a butterfly to the inside of my card. This is the bit that you're going to write your "To You, love from me." Just made sure that my envelope is the right way up. Can't tell you the number of times that I've had the envelope, the stamp where I should be putting the postage stamp. All right, let's clear the decks a little bit here. Just using a little liquid adhesive. Those of you that follow me will know that I prefer to use liquid, but you can use whichever adhesive works for you. The reason I like it is it gives me a few moments of time to make sure that everything is lined up. Some dimensionals. Oh, this gives me an opportunity to say to you, whenever you use blends, always work on a piece of card that you are going to cover. Or if you like, it's going to go on another layer. Don't do your envelopes, because as you can see, it bleeds through and you won't be so happy with the result. So I'm going to bring us out a bit so that you can see what I'm doing, and add my stamping dimensionals, one in each corner and one in the middle. And there we go. And I'm just going to pop this there. Now I could add some pearls, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bow out of the coordinating open weave ribbon, the evening evergreen ribbon. And again, if you follow the link below, it will take you to my blog, and I have a video on making bows, and there will be a link to that on that post. Couple of glue dots. So I'm going to pop one at the back, and I'm going to pop him about there, I think, just where the stems finish. And I think I'm going to pop another one behind that loop, and then that makes sure that I've got that really firmly stuck down and it won't ping off when it's taken out of the envelope. Well, okay, now as I say, I could add some pearls, but I think I'm going to resist the temptation and finish there. So there's my card, as I said, starting from just a basic sketch in my mind and turning it into something that you can mail out to celebrate something. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can do that by pressing the little button on the screen that's got my face, and I truly appreciate you doing that. Okay then, well, thank you for joining me today. Bye for now.